Please open mind. Discern this in all information. June 14, 2016. Benjamin Fulford. Special update, the Rothschilds finally got in touch. This is what the Rothschilds had to say about the situation to a WD's member in Asia. It is 0440HRS here. I finally got in touch with them. Strange time for sure. I spoke with Nat's personal secretary. I am sure the call was rerouted. This is what she told me: we are aware of what you and your contact in Tokyo desire. We do agree and are working with other members of the family to make this happen. We are also aware of what is currently taking place. The golden lilies are ready to be harvested. The first of 3 is being prepared now. The group that thinks they will get it, will not. It will be integrated in the changeover to the new plan. Each new district will have their own reserves, for their new currency. Each district will be part of a basket of Asian currencies that are backed with various commodities. We will send our representative over to meet with you, as we know how to reach you. After that, you and your contact in Tokyo will be able to meet with Nat directly, should you desire. Please be on standby. I have her name as well. At least the one she gave me. She sounds like she is British, as I can hear from the way she talks. I do not know what you should do with this information. Maybe release part of it, and hold the part about actually naming XXX back for now. It seems that your numbers were checked out and they are obviously aware of what you have been saying in your weekly updates, as well as our conversations. So in other words, the Rothschilds have finally agreed to support a massive campaign to end poverty, stop environmental destruction and trigger an exponential expansion of humanity into the universe. This is good news indeed for the planet. We will keep readers posted on any further developments. Old report begins here. US and UN power handover or hostile takeover up for grabs. Negotiations for a new financial system are on hold as the controllers of the old system seem to have gone into or are preparing to go into hiding. This means that at the time of this writing it is unclear if there will be peaceful transition to a new financial system or a hostile takeover of the old system. The backdrop to these now on hold negotiations is an increasingly chaotic situation in the United States, the Middle East and Europe as the bankruptcy of the Western financial system begins to affect social and economic stability. The situation in the United States is especially critical with an intense power struggle that has become visible even in the corporate media. This can be seen as some Hazarian-controlled media like the New York Times and the Washington Post reporting a very different reality than media like the Wall Street Journal and ABC TV or the nationwide McClatchy newspaper chain. The former, for example, report that Hillary Clinton is now the official Democratic Party presidential candidate while the latter are concentrating more on the criminal investigations into the Clinton Foundation etc. The clearest sign of a split in the power structure, though, comes from the White House itself. Their acting President Barack Obama publicly endorsed Hillary Clinton for president only to have the White House press spokesman come out an hour later to say that Clinton was under criminal investigation. The bankruptcy on May 2 of the United States of America Corporation is being felt in increasingly obvious ways. For example, many of the close to 50 million Americans who rely on food aid to feed their families were experiencing glitches with their cards this month, in what is either a cyber attack or an attempt to steal their money. Another example is that police have gone from stopping cars and stealing the passengers' cash to using high-tech devices to empty their credit cards. There are also reports of glitches in mobile phone networks and GPS systems around the US in what is a clear sign of intense cyber warfare. The false flag attack in Orlando, Florida, where 50 people were allegedly killed, will not stop leaks or distract from the ongoing campaign to end Hazarian mafia control of the United States, Pentagon officials say. The Orlando incident also illustrated the split in the U.S. with many corporate media outlets describing it as an attack by a single ISIS radical Muslim killer while internet news sites, agency officials, and other aware people instantly recognized it as yet another Hazarian mafia psychological warfare operation false flag incident. The Pentagon and the agencies already know the Hazarian Mafia, the real culprits behind this attack, and know the trail leads to Israel and World Hazarian Mafia headquarters in Switzerland. This false flag took place immediately after top bosses of the Hazarian Mafia ended their meeting at the Bilderberg gathering in Dresden, Germany. Although not on the official list of attendees, Rothschild family sources confirm. Nathaniel Rothschild presided over that meeting on behalf of his uncle and top Hazarian Mafia boss Baron Jacob Nathaniel Rothschild. The official press release about the meeting can be seen here. The only thing we can add to this from our own sources is that at the meeting they discussed a global tax that would be sold as necessary to finance an end to environmental destruction and poverty. They also discussed the Chinese offer of 20,000 tons of gold at a 13% discount on the condition that of that discount the 10% would be used to set up a future planning agency and the other 3% would go to commissions as mentioned previously in this newsletter, Rothschild family sources confirm. The Rothschild family is in any case now clearly circling their wagons. CIA officials say that nobody is answering the phone at all the official, public Rothschild family companies. The only number to contact them at is the one at their family complex in Zug, Switzerland, and at the time of this writing, nobody was answering the phone there either. Below is a picture of the Rothschild family complex in Zug. There are also signs something unusual is about to happen in England, possibly related to the Rothschilds. According to Russia Today, most likely not a Russian site. The British military has been removed from the job of protecting the Royal Mint, where England's gold is stored, and replaced with the private security company G4S. This is the scandal-plagued company that botched the security for the London Olympics. It is also where the so-called shooter in Orlando used to work. Considering the closure of the Rothschild offices in England, Japan, and elsewhere, it is a good guess they have absconded to Switzerland with England's gold reserves. If that is the case, it means that, for the first time since the Rothschilds made a fortune from insider trading after the Battle of Waterloo, the Rothschilds no longer control the Bank of England. This could also be related to a double-digit lead in the polls in England favouring an exit from the European Union in the referendum due on June 23. If England leaves the EU, it will become a truly independent country again for the first time since 1066. Events will tell. We are also hearing from German Second Reich sources that Germans who left Germany to form colonies elsewhere after and just before the end of World War II will be going back to Germany shortly to restore independence, their fatherland. They also say a lot of hitherto hidden German technology is also about to be revealed. Pentagon sources say U.S. forces have been evacuated from Germany's Ramstein air base in order to shut down Bush cabal drug trafficking there and thus cut off their funds. In any case, as things stand, the entire European financial system is wobbling and about to collapse. The latest report from the BIS says international banks have reduced lending to Europe by $276 billion during the most recent quarter. The already bankrupt system is not likely to be able to survive such a huge reduction of money. Perhaps that is why that ultimate Hazarian insider, George Soros, has announced he is going into gold and gold mining stocks as a hedge against financial turmoil in the US and Europe. There is also severe turbulence in Turkey. Sources in Turkey say there are riots throughout that country and even battles taking place between armed police and military units. Pentagon sources say the evacuation of US forces the Incirlik air base in Turkey has also helped cut off the supply of drug money to the Bush Nazi faction of the Hazarian Mafia. Turkish news reports partially support this source by reporting the Turkish government is denying German requests to allow the German Air Force to start using that base. Why would Germany suddenly want to send planes to a base in Turkey? Satan-worshipping Hazarian and Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu went to Russia last week to seek protection and permission to resume air raids against Syria and Libya, Pentagon sources say. Instead, Netanyahu was told Israel would have to return the Golan Heights and hand control of its gas fields over to Russia's Gazprom if it wanted protection. Russia also told them it would keep arming Hezbollah, Syria, and Iran. The Saudi Arabian government is also under severe attack, as it was revealed it used financial blackmail against the UN in order to get itself removed from sanctions over its murder of children in Yemen. Saudi Arabia, in any case, has no money and is now trying to seize funds from the 9 million foreigners working there. In Asia, meanwhile, a serious power struggle is continuing in China, with Xi Jinping duking it out against the Shanghai faction and the Communist Youth League faction. This infighting is expected to come to some sort of climax at the summer meeting in Baidahe in July. In Japan and Korea, meanwhile, top underworld figures have contacted the White Dragon Society to ask what is going to happen to them now that the Rothschilds have lost power. A representative of the Korean Unification Church, the longtime allies of the Bush Nazi Hazarian faction and supporters of the current Abe regime, suggested the underworld could finance itself with control of the soon-to-be legalized marijuana industry in Japan and South Korea. Marijuana has never been illegal in North Korea, where it is still sold openly in the shops alongside with amphetamines. This representative also said they have stopped supplying amphetamines to the Bush faction of the Hazarian mafia. He also asked what role North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un would have under the new regime. A top official from a senior Kanto-based Yakuza business syndicate said his group expected to receive equal or greater financing under the new regime as it got from the Rothschilds. He expected this to take place in the form of movie financing and real estate loans. Both were told that as much of Yakuza business that could be made legal would be made legal, and that they would earn more under the new regime as legitimate businesses than they did working underground. Thanks for listening and watching. Subscribe and share.